Welcome back, everybody, to Ghost in the Cloud, an anime podcast. Your host here, Bridget, and my amazing co-host, John.
Hello, hello.
Hey, hey. So this week we're talking about Full Moon Wo Sagashite.
Sagashite.
For those who missed our introductory episode, we talked about some of our favorites and the shows that got us sucked into the anime world. So this one is one of my personal favorites, and I'm really excited that we're talking about it so soon in the show. I don't think we actually originally planned that. So that's what we're going to talk about this week. But of course, beforehand, we're going to get into
anime news.
And this week we have a lot of news for you because there were so many good choices and we couldn't possibly narrow them down. So we're going to start out with Mary and the Witch's Flower. We had mentioned the movie is coming out soon, and it's out, and it's number 2 in the Japanese box office. And the film sold 324,000 tickets, which earned about 428 million yen, which is $3.75 million here in dollars. And it played on 458 screens this Saturday and Sunday, which is pretty fantastic. I can't wait to get this movie in the States.
It's got to be so interesting to live in Japan, because, like,
they get all the good stuff first.
Especially if you're, like, a millennial. Like, it's anime and it's video games.
Yeah.
Like, it seems so,
like, I know
so
our pop culture evolves around what they release, and it's got to be so exciting there.
Up next, real escape game company Scrap announced on Saturday that it's working on a Detective Conan Case Closed attraction, dubbed Scotland Yard Kara no Dashutsu, which means Escape from Scotland Yard. The attraction will get a tie-in anime special with 2 episodes titled Ihan Kara Tobidatsu Bakudan Ma, the bomb demon that came from the picture book. And those will air this winter. Escape games are a sort of interactive group sort of setting.
You have to like unlock these puzzles together cooperatively to unlock rooms to get into the next room, and the goal is to get to the end of this like
a fun
maze
group
and puzzle.
Activity.
It is, and it's a brain teaser. It's a lot of fun. It's definitely a challenge. I think what they said was like the ones that we did, it was like 30% success rate. It was pretty awesome. So moving on with the news, Gaman Sakurai's Ajin Demi-Human manga is getting a live action film, and the film setting will be in Tokyo in 2017. Tatsuyuki Motohiro is directing the film, and those unfamiliar with this manga or the Netflix original anime, Ajin are immortal life forms that mysteriously appeared among humans, and they cause mass panic and worldwide fear. The Netflix show, they never explained really where they came from.
The characters are still trying to understand what they are.
Yeah, they didn't even know that they grew up and they were born and raised as humans, and all of a sudden, bam, they realized they were an Ajin, and they don't even know why or what the heck they are. But they are immortal, and they're pretty kick-ass, so we're gonna
terrifying.
It is, yeah. But I'm very excited about the live action.
Speaking of live action, the Full Metal Alchemist live action film will open in Japan on December 1st. Fumihiko Sori is directing the film, and when questioned on adapting the source material, Sori said, "I want to create a style that follows the original manga as much as possible. The cast is entirely Japanese, but the cultural background is Europe. However, it's a style that doesn't represent a specific race or country." Regarding the faithfulness of the adaptation, which has characters of non-Japanese ethnicity, the director said that there will never be a scene in which a character says something that would identify him or her as Japanese. This is, to me, is a really good idea. Having a director say something like that really, I think, shows how much he wants to make a good movie for everyone.
Yeah, and also just true to the story. It doesn't take place in Japan. It takes place in Europe, just based on the trailer that we saw. Stoked for this movie. It looks amazing. The graphics that they do for Alphonse armor.
Alphonse looks awesome.
Amazing. And, I could even pinpoint, based on the trailer, what part of the story that they were in, because they're following the manga story very closely. I could tell already that they're definitely doing it justice with the graphics and the costumes, and just fantastic.
Being put into a 2-hour or so movie might be
I don't know how that's going to pan out,
I guess we'll see.
But so far, just visually, it was very promising. It looked really good. So.
Additionally, a fan event announced on Monday that Full Metal Alchemist manga creator Hiromu Arakawa is drawing a special edition comic for people who attend the theatrical screening in Japan. This is pretty cool, considering he hasn't worked on a manga for this in 7 years.
Yeah, he hasn't done any drawings for the franchise. That's pretty awesome. And of course, only in Japan, but we can dream. So I think this year is just 2017 is forever going to be known as the year of the live actions because there are so many live actions being announced. So we have another one, Death Note live action movie. It will premiere on Netflix August 25th. And the casting seems to be a little controversial around the web, but we figure we'll give it a shot. Plus they have William Dafoe doing the voicing of Ryuk, which is the Shinigami, creepy looking Shinigami. And for those who aren't too familiar with William Dafoe, if you ever saw the first Spider-Man movie with Tobey Maguire, he played the Goblin, and he's very good at creepy. He does villains so well, so I think that character choice, the actor, fantastic choice. I think he'll do great.
Probably not the best movie we could have mentioned, but
but that
new Spider-Man just came out. It makes sense.
I mean, but he did do a great job as the Goblin. He definitely played villain. A creepy villain, especially, really well. Another live action to look forward to this year.
Very true. Last bit of news, a few quick video game tidbits. Ni no Kuni 2, set to be released on PS4 and PC, has been delayed to January 19th. But it's for quality updates, so hopefully that means you get an even better game. Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 will be released on the Nintendo Switch on September 22nd. I'm super excited for this as a Nintendo fanboy. I'm very happy to see that they're getting into the swing of things. We're getting a lot of these other titles on their platform. What's really cool is the game will be getting 3 new systems for the Switch version alone, so that'll be interesting. And finally, Ghost in the Shell standalone Conquest First Assault is getting an update. This is a free-to-play first-person shooter available on Steam, and apparently this update is going to change a lot of how the game works.
Awesome.
But it looks like it's going to be really fun, so check it out.
I'm going to get on my Steam account right after this. And Steam is also free to have, so it's it doesn't cost anything to make a Steam account, so you might as well get on there and give it a try, because we're Ghost in the Shell fans because we're called Ghost in the Cloud.
This episode brought to you by Steam.
Yeah. We should build them.
Yeah. All right,
we have Word of the Week.
Yes, Word of the Week.
So I thought it was fitting. The name of the show that we're covering this week is Full Moon Wo Sagashite. Sagashite is the word of the week, and it means searching or looking for. So the title of the show translates to searching for a full moon. And as we talk more about the show, or if you watch the show, the title is very fitting. So moving on.
All right, into this week's anime.
Wee-hee-hee. Full Moon anime is based off of a Japanese shoujo manga by Arina Tanemura, and the manga was published by Shueisha in the magazine Ribbon from January of 2002 until June of 2004, and it collected in 7 tankobon volumes. Nailed it.
The series was adapted into a 52-episode anime by Studio Dean. It was directed by Toshiyuki Kato and released in 2002. The adaptation follows the manga closely until Mitsuki's first singing audition before diverging and changing some things, such as characters, histories, and personalities. I've not read the manga, but I have looked up some details on it, and it is quite different from the show. So if you have checked out one, I advise checking out the other, and if you haven't checked out either, give them a listen or a watch or a read, I guess I should say.
I've only done the show. I actually, now that you mention it,
but
I'm very interested in watching.
Because the television series concluded before the manga was finished, the anime ending has a different resolution, and the television series is licensed by Viz Media. Okay, so for a quick synopsis of the show, 12-year-old Mitsuki Koyama is a middle school girl who dreams of becoming a singer. Unfortunately, she has throat cancer, and what's worse is because of it, she cannot sing, and the only cure is through a surgery that could ruin her vocal cords. Mitsuki's dream seems impossible to achieve until one day she is visited by 2 Shinigami, whom only she could see. The Shinigami Takuto and Moroko inadvertently tip Mitsuki off that she only has 1 year left to live. That's kind of rough.
Yeah.
She then realizes she cannot wait any long to fulfill her dream. Knowing time is short, she heads out to an open audition, but the Shinigami Takuto stops her. She expresses her wishes to be a singer, and this moves Takuto to agree to help her, only if Mitsuki promises to go quietly when her year is up. Takuto gives her the ability to transform into a completely healthy 16-year-old version of herself to meet the age requirements of the audition, and sing without her cancer afflicting her. Despite heavy competition, Mitsuki wins over the judges with her excellent voice and her enthusiasm for singing, sealing a contract with Seed Records. To conceal her true identity, she chooses the stage name Full Moon. And that's where our show begins.
Yeah, it seems like that's a lot, and you might even think that we're giving away some plot here. This is something that it all happens in the very first episode. This is all that happens in the first episode. The audition, the winning, the record company, the transforming, everything's revealed right there in episode 1, and then that's where the show kind of sets in.
And we're going to do our best not to spoil too much, because the idea of the show, I think, is to pull at your heartstrings and just sort of make you feel. So we don't want to give too much away. There will be some light spoilers, but we do recommend checking this out because personally, it's not an anime that's directed to guys, in my opinion. That said, the first 26 episodes I could do without.
Because it was more about the building the relationships, which I thought was important.
It took a little long to get started.
Yeah, but then the middle of the show was the big turning point when you realize it's going to get serious. It reminds you that, hey, this isn't a cute show. It's a show about a 12-year-old girl with cancer. And that's when it really starts to pick up and the ball gets rolling.
And it really captures your attention, and it ends up being a surprisingly good show, I think.
And that's when you were like, can I watch one more? Well, we can watch one more episode. One more. And then, so that's when I knew you were starting to enjoy it. But, I feel like the first half was very important because building up those relationships, and you realize just how connected they are. And you also build a relationship and a connection to those characters. So you become attached to them. So what happens to them, you care more about. And I think that's also why some parts of the show are so sad.
Real quick, it takes place on Earth. In Japan, and they actually visit the United States at one point. And the show follows the themes of death and living one's life to the fullest.
Yes.
That is the big moral of the story, is our time is limited here. How do we go about making our lives worth something? And
one thing I'm going to mention is that we promise that we're not going to give away the ending.
Yes, we're not going to give away the ending. We are going to talk a lot about sort of the characters and their development, relationships. Because
I know most people listening have not seen the show, so my goal for this discussion is to get you interested in watching it and seeing how wonderful it is and why I love it so much.
And as you can tell based on our description, the show focuses so heavily on music and what it is to people. A lot of good music. Like, you could be driving in the car and having a bad day, and then that song comes on, and it just changes your mood.
It does.
Or it makes it worse, for all we know.
Yeah, it makes you cry a little bit.
But, music has such a powerful message for people, and it could change who you are, how you're feeling, what you want to do with your life, with your day, and the show focuses on that so heavily. Mitsuki said I don't know if you heard the cat.
You hear
cats are meowing outside the door. Pain in the asses. So Mitsuki is a 12-year-old girl, and she has cancer. I think the cat heard that we were talking about her, and now she won't shut up. She has cancer. Throat cancer that obviously is stopping her from achieving her one dream. Then, out of nowhere, she gets a bombshell because these two Shinigami, Takuto and Moroko, fly in through her, wall. They fly through her wall, they phase through it, and they're checking in on her because they know she's going to be dying soon.
And they're talking about her right in front of her, and she's just like, I know, who are you guys? And they're like, you can see us? Like, what?
And
there's
sort of different forms of Shinigami. We don't get a whole lot of information on how the Shinigami work.
Yeah, they really just focus on the two of them.
Takuto and Moroku are Shinigami for the children's division of, I guess, their heaven.
Yeah.
So when a child is dying, man, this started to make me sad. They come to take the soul of that child so they can move that soul to the afterlife.
Yeah, they bring them to the afterlife. So these two characters, because they are Shinigami, they're not supposed to be seen by regular people, but for some reason, Mitsuki can see them. They can transform into...
Very classic Japanese anime sort of trope is...
a bunny and a cat.
Very cute bunny cat that appears as a stuffed animal.
They look like toys, and that's the form that they take place if they want people to see them and hear them. Medoko is the bunny, and Takuto is the cat. I kind of want them as little plushy toys, but I have enough, so
we digress.
But yeah, you think a 12-year-old girl getting slammed with that news, 1 year left to live, do you think she'd cry? No. In fact, she just immediately, she's like, oh nope, I gotta go, I have to get to the audition, I can't wait anymore.
Yeah, I wish at 12 I knew what I wanted to be.
Yeah, 12 years old, she had her whole life figured out. She knew exactly what she wanted to do, and her health was holding her back. Her grandmother hated music. She she was holding her back.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting relationships and dynamics that you get throughout the show, and we'll go into that a little bit more.
Talk a little bit more about the other characters. But when she was hit with this bad news, she immediately said, nope, I got to get out of here. And she just booked it. She snuck out and she started to head towards the auditions for this Seed Records. And the two Shinigami were just taken back. Like, she's not crying. She's not upset. What's going on here? And they follow after her and
the reason they follow after her is because the idea is that a Shinigami should not really interfere with a person's life in any way.
No.
They're supposed to live till the point where they die, but there are things throughout the regular world that can affect the amount of time they have left. Either something could happen where they could end up getting a few more months to live, or something could happen that could change that, and then they have a few less months to live. And the idea is that the Shinigami are supposed to keep her lifeline as it was originally destined and not to be affected by these other things. So that's why they follow her.
Yeah, and they have this book that tells them. It's not like they're all-knowing.
Yeah.
They have this book that comes from the Shinigami system, I guess, and the words will appear, and if a word appears in there, that means that it's something that could help prolong her life. But if the word is written in there backwards, like a mirror image, and it's red, that means it's something that can shorten her life. So they keep checking in the book, and that's their guideline. But...
So Mitsuki runs out to this first audition, and she's super excited, but as she's getting there, you could tell her health is affecting her. Finally, she gets there, and Takuto shows up, and he's just like, you can't do this. You got to turn around. And she just lets out everything that she's been holding inside, explains it all to him, why she's doing this. And he feels for her, and he's just like, all right, this is what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
He gives her a little bit of his blood, and
it turns into this like little candy drop that she has to eat.
She eats it, which is a little weird,
a
little gross, but it gives her the power to transform through Takuto. So Takuto, all these Shinigami have sort of, I guess, magical powers to a degree, and
they each have like
they
their
allow
own too.
By Takuto snapping his fingers, he can transform her into the 16-year-old version of herself. Which she goes in and she sings her heart out. Everyone loves her, and you got to remember, although she looks 16, she's still a 12-year-old girl, so she's intimidated by all these other people around her, and like she hasn't, although she's in a developed female body.
Yeah.
She doesn't feel that way. She doesn't see herself that way.
Not at all.
So it's a really interesting take to watch a young character be trapped in an older person's body. It's Big.
Yeah.
Right? Isn't that the movie with Tom Hanks? Big?
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's Big in
it's like
anime form, and
you
girl.
You see somebody who is adult size. That's very childish.
She still gets excited.
Pure, and people can see that she has a very pure heart. They don't realize it's because she's only 12. They see her, as an adult, but she, very pure at heart, very innocent, and that's one of the things why people really like about her. But it was really nice what Takuto did. They could have just brought her back home. They decided to help her, and really, honestly, he didn't think she was gonna win. That's even true. Said, you know what, she's gonna lose. It's not gonna happen. What are the odds? But she's gonna have to face reality. She's gonna come home. She's gonna live out the last year of her life, and then we're gonna collect her soul, and that'll be the end of it. But instead, he's listening to our audition, and you can just see her just jaw drop.
Yeah, everyone just stops listening to this girl sing, and right then and there, the show really begins, and things change, and you find out why Mitsuki wants to sing. Not only, so a little background on Mitsuki.
Mm-hmm.
She is currently living with her grandmother.
Crabby grandmother.
Her parents died in an accident, which
they don't really cover.
They don't cover too much, but you do get some background because her father was a musician. This love of music is sort of like built into her. Yeah. And she lost her parents at a very young age. And then what happened was she went to live at a foster home until briefly, for a few years, until her grandmother found out that her kids had passed away and that their daughter is living here and then she takes her in.
Yeah, she adopted her.
Thing is, though, grandma hates music. Mm-hmm. She has this hatred for her father. She feels that Mitsuki's father took her daughter away from her.
Yeah, and blame the music too.
And blames the fact that it was music, the love of this music that did it. So you have a really interesting dynamic dynamic between Mitsuki, who just dreams of singing, and her grandma, who pretty much forbids it like in her home. So Mitsuki then, after becoming full moon, has to go on this like crazy sort of hiding game of keeping everything from her.
Yeah, but luckily Meruko has a very handy ability. She can transform herself into any physical form. Her voice is still hers, which is really funny. But if Mitsuki ever has to go to, something related to her music career, she'll go with Takuto, and Meruko stays behind and transforms herself into Mitsuki. Yeah, she's like, I don't want to be left behind again. This is boring. I'm not allowed to watch TV or anything. So Mitsuki, has a cover at least. She has Meruko to back her up, and she'll just hang out in her bedroom.
And you quickly find out why Mitsuki is doing this. So at her time in the foster home, she met this boy named Ichi.
Ichi.
He's a few years older than her, but they ended up becoming like best friends. And
yeah, they really shared a
even
deep
though
bond.
she was like a young child, she loves him. Like she loves him so much. He was adopted by a family in the United States.
Yeah, in North Dakota, I think. Not relevant. Not really relevant, but it was, I just thought it was interesting that they tied in the
And then they don't see each other.
Yeah, she didn't hear from him, but they promised each other. They made one promise to one another before he left, was that they would both always work their hardest to pursue their dreams. Her, a singer, and him, an astronomer.
No.
Yeah, he always had a telescope, and he loved gazing up at the stars, and
he told her, it's just like, look, we may not be together physically, but we're all still under the same moon.
Yeah, we're connected
and that's
by the
where
moon.
She gets her name from.
Yeah, and even gave her a necklace that is like a full moon, and she always wears it.
Like, you have to think about it. Like, this girl doesn't have her parents. Like, Ichi is the first sort of connection she makes with another person.
She was too young to make that connection with her parents.
To lose that, but it has to be devastating. So her dream is to become this amazing singer, so Ichi can hear her and realize that she's fulfilled his dream, and then hopefully they can get back. They can see each other again.
She hasn't heard from him. I think it had been 2 years, they said, since they were separated. So 2 years isn't quite too long. But the fact is that she can't reach out to him, and she hasn't heard from him. So she becomes a singer that's known globally. He will be able to find her. So her dream for music is tied in with Ichi.
You have her going through these sort of steps a regular musician would do. She has all these tryouts. She has her intro song, and like back in the early 90s, at least in America, I feel like you had a lot of one-off pop songs, and you wouldn't necessarily get like a whole CD right away.
Yeah, that they're singles.
So you get like these hit singles, and that's sort of how she starts out her career. But everyone loves her. Yeah, like she can do no wrong, and she has this just pure heart.
Other characters in the show, like the grandmother,
strict, old school, does not want Mitsuki.
Yeah,
she doesn't even want to hear music. It's not even like...
Yeah, they have a housemaid who's really funny, but she's not allowed to play music at all while she's working. She doesn't want to see it. She doesn't want to hear it. Nothing related to music whatsoever. And they make it so that you don't like the grandmother. Like, you're not supposed to like her in the beginning. She's a grouch. She's a party pooper. No one likes her. But that's why she has one of the most biggest character developments in the show, because she does grow over time. They give you like little breadcrumbs of her background as you go along with the show, and you find out why she's the way she is, and you start to sympathize with her instead.
I mean, she's still pain, but yes, you do sympathize.
But that's why, they reveal her losing her daughter to this musician, and now she has this granddaughter that she does love her, and she's worried about her, but she's not good at showing it. But she isn't going through with this surgery that could save her life because of music. Once again, she's afraid that music is going to take away somebody that she loves. So that's why she's in a bind.
She also doesn't express.
She doesn't.
She doesn't
show
very well.
or say anything to her granddaughter, and she doesn't realize how much her grandmother really does love her. I mean, there's a little more that they reveal later in the show that's pretty amazing, and she does warm up quite a bit. But I think we'll leave that for you guys to find out when you watch it. So
for the first half of the show, you get a lot of the relationship between the Shinigami and Mitsuki, as well as Mitsuki and her doctor and the woman who would be her manager. So first we'll talk about the Shinigami. So Takuto and Moroku are a team.
Yeah.
Team Negi Ramen.
Yeah, so they're ramen noodles, basically. It's the name of their team.
And apparently, like, all Shinigami have, like, a teammate to, I guess, help them.
A team of two.
Help them through collecting these souls. And they both start off as very by the book.
Yes.
But after hearing Mitsuki sing by the end of the second episode,
Yeah.
they realize that this isn't a normal case.
Because, I mean, now also they put themselves in a situation where they always have to be around Mitsuki to help her with her singing career, so...
And because of that, they're learning more about this girl, they're feeling for this girl, and they're starting to be like, well, now I don't... Like, now it's gonna be so much more hard, so much harder to take this girl's soul when time's up.
At the end of the year. But, yeah, you know what? Most episodes, they only ever so briefly even think about their Shinigami book, you know, their guideline book. It only comes out once in a while, but really, honestly, they just enjoy their time with Mitsuki and help her through her career and with her family. They become friends with her, and most of the time they're not even thinking about the fact that they are Shinigami. They're just friends.
And Takuto kind of develops a little bit of a crush on Mitsuki. You find out... You find out why, which I don't think we'll reveal.
No.
But his background for a little bit is...
it's very tied in with Mitsuki's life.
It's very tied in with Mitsuki's life and music in general. And that's why he's sort of drawn to her.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because Morocco...
Yeah.
His partner is in fact like infatuated with Takuto.
Which is no secret.
So you get like a weird sort of love triangle where no one sort of is into the other person.
Wait, how many times? Do you remember how many times Maroko has confessed to Takuto? It was like
50
Yeah, it was
something.
like 50 something times. She's like, and every time she does it, it's like the first time. She's like, she like pours her heart out, and he's just like, yeah, I've heard this before, and he just walks away. But
Takuto's kind of a jerk too.
He is,
like,
he's kind
of the show.
He does, yeah.
But they all have really good aspects of themselves, and being around Mitsuki brings that forward. It shows how someone who is very driven, very like nice, just like a good person can change. And that's like a huge theme of the show too. Like, yeah. Because Mitsuki, obviously, she interacts with a variety of people throughout the show, and they catch the Mitsuki bug. Like they can't help but love this girl and want to see her succeed.
I just pictured like a ladybug with Mitsuki's face on it.
That said, there's a few characters that sort of they put in there to be her rivals or bad guys, I guess, to say. Yeah. To sort of progress the show a little bit. For the most part, like even they understand Mitsuki and Full Moon, her alter ego, like the point of like the reason that they're there and the reason that these or the understanding why like they come to understand how everyone else loves this character, loves this person. Mitsuki has a relationship with her doctor.
He's not just a doctor.
He's
he
not
really
just
is
a doctor.
Guardian. So,
yes.
I think she's aware that he's a family friend. I don't think she really knew the connection, which, we don't have to mention what the connection is. But, he's a very good family friend, and he did know her parents, and, he knows the grandmothers. So he's also a guardian to her, and, generally cares about her as he would like a niece. So, not just having just a doctor that you call when she's not feeling well. It plays a role in her life. So when she makes this record with Seed Records, when she makes his contract, she needed to have a guardian with her to look over her. Yeah, so she put down the doctor.
She manages to dupe the doctor as well as the woman who would be her manager. So naturally, because she has throat cancer, the doctor would not allow her to sing. He wouldn't sign off on it.
Oh, his name is Wakaoji. So yes. Wakaoji Sensei believes that she was doing an acting and modeling.
Yeah, modeling
career instead. So.
And she tricks the manager.
Yeah, she has her agent.
Masami Oshiji. Oh, we're definitely messing that up. And she has to very carefully play like a game of chess with against everybody. Like she's got to make a move that doesn't reveal herself to Wakoji Sensei. She's got to make a move that doesn't reveal herself to her manager or her grandmother. Like she's playing all these things and she's doing it surprisingly well.
Yeah, the day that the manager and the doctor had to meet to just one formal introduction, like, hey, I'm going to be your guardian. The other one's like, hey, I'm her agent, but she doesn't want her agent to mention that's singing and not modeling, and she doesn't want the doctor to mention that Mitsuki is a 12-year-old girl
with throat cancer.
With throat cancer. So you have this little game that they played, which with the help of these obviously of the two Shinigami, you had Medoko going nuts. She had to change her form into pretty much everybody at some point. I know,
hero of the story right there.
Yeah, okay. So she did quite a lot for Mitsuki that day, but after a lot of loops that they had to jump through. So they were able to get it all set up. Everybody was believing whatever she told them, that she was able to follow through with that. So
because Mitsuki is such an amazing singer, this draws other characters to her. And it sort of creates this rivalry between this other character called Madoka Wakamatsu. She's this girl who has been trying to break out into the singing world for a while. She's done sort of minor acting gigs, but she's been in it for a while, and she doesn't understand why this girl, Full Moon, can just get everything she wants, and like it seems like things come so easy to her. I mean,
she's
she
been
doesn't
trying
know.
since she was a kid. Like, she's been doing little acting gigs, and she's been busting her butt for such a long time, trying to get the break that just in one day, Mitsuki was able to get with really very little effort on her part, as Madoka seems to think. She just like swooped in here and took my spotlight.
And she tries so many times to sabotage Full Moon.
She spreads terrible rumors.
Thanks to the Shinigami, they managed to thwart those.
Yeah.
But even towards the end of the show, Madoka understands, like, you know what? It's good to have a rival. I shouldn't be trying to get her out of the career. What I should be doing is trying to bring myself up.
Yeah.
To beat her fair and square. And she works harder and harder. It's just another thing that shows how powerful of a character Mitsuki/Full Moon is. Like,
but she came to that realization was Madoka became friends with who she just believed was her number one fan. Mitsuki, as a 12-year-old girl, approached her and spoke to her. And she said that, I want to hear your music too. I don't want you to get discouraged because Full Moon is doing so great. I want to hear your music. You can sing the same songs if you want. You have your own voice. Music is for everybody. And she gives her the courage to move forward and to try to raise her career up to where Full Moon is. So even though she didn't realize she was talking to Full Moon, she's talking to her as the 12-year-old girl, Mitsuki was still there and still that driving force for her and affected her. Without her even knowing, she became friends with Full Moon. So even though they're friends, they're still rivals. They're frenemies.
Right, they're frenemies, yeah. So now we get to sort of the midway point of the show, and things change drastically. The mood goes from light and sort of funny with like this little bit of hint of sort of sorrow, and now we change gears. And what happens is they introduce other characters, other Shinigami. One of them being Izumi. Izumi is the former partner of Moroku. He's kind of a sadistic son of a bitch. And,
he's kind of a dick.
Yeah, and he takes his job
very seriously.
Not only seriously, but he enjoys it. Like, he gets pleasure out of taking the souls of these people.
Absolutely.
And
it's a game to
there
him.
are times when he even tries to convince Mitsuki to end her life early, and it's just like, wow, well, like, this guy is terrible. And of course Takuto and Moroku do their best to thwart him, and they do, but like they present him as a bad guy. So like you have sort of 3 different levels of bad throughout this show. You have the grandma, which is just sort of like a wall.
There's no one is evil in this show. There's no real true villain.
Madoka, who really just
people.
wants to like get ahead, and like she's been trying to do this forever, and here comes this other girl who's doing things way better than she's ever done. And then you introduce Izumi, who like literally is probably the bad guy.
Yeah, if you had to pick someone as the bad guy, it would have to be Izumi.
And he's doing this because he hates Takuto. And the reason he hates Takuto is because Moroku used to be his partner.
Yeah, and she used to be the one confessing to Izumi all the time. Apparently, she used to have that fling for him, and then...
No more.
Yeah, so, and then he was overwhelmed by it, and he requested their team be disbanded, and that's when Madoka was given the new Shinigami, Takuto. And she realized, you know what, Takuto is way cooler, and she fell for him, and now Izumi is all jealous. Yeah, typical, little love situation there. He takes his jealousy, and he makes himself a bad person as a result. And
I don't want to give anything further away, but like you'll watch his character develop as well. And
yeah, like he doesn't
interesting
quite so bad, but you can't forget what he's done, but he does make up for a little bit later in the show. So
a show completely about music.
Yeah.
It's actually really cool. So the anime has 2 openings and 4 endings.
Yes.
Some of the songs, well, actually, I should say all of the songs, are sung by actual pop artists from Japan.
Yeah,
So,
actual bands.
the Scanty, they're a pop group that sang the openings, which is I Love You, for the first 26 episodes. And the group's song Rock and Roll Princess is used for the latter half of the show as the opening theme.
Yeah, and they did have like a rock vibe to them.
Yeah,
too.
and what's crazy is they actually, like, in the show, they
had a cameo of
they
them.
have a cameo. So, like, they did an anime version of
they
those
were,
characters.
I remember, they were outside, and there was like a band playing, and there was this the lead singer. She was like in this rock and roll outfit, and they were singing "Rock and Roll Princess," and that is the actual band. They did like an animated version of them for the show.
That band, the Scanty, formed in Tokyo in October 2001. Unfortunately, they disbanded only 2 years later. And then you have this other pop artist called
Change in My Life.
Change in My Life. That's their name, and they were also a band, and they performed all 4 endings. New Future, used for the first 6 episodes and the last episode 52. Myself is used for episodes 7 through 26. Eternal Snow is used for episode 27 through 42, and Love Chronicle is used for 43 through 51. Cool thing is, the lead singer of Changing My Life is also the voice of Mitsuki.
Yep.
And she's the one who sings all of Mitsuki's songs, which happen to be these songs. So Eternal Snow you get throughout the show, Myself you get throughout the show. Those are like the 2 big ones, and then the other ones do pop up here and there.
I do wonder if they wrote the music, their band wrote the music, but for the use of the show, or if the music was already around before the show wasn't.
Well, debuted in 2001, so the show started in 2002.
Yeah, they worked together on it, but I really thought it was interesting that the singer is also the voice actor. The lead singer in Change My Life was phenomenal. I thought she had a great voice.
The matchup for like the drawing of the mouth moving when singing compared to the song doesn't always like look right. It looks a little strange.
Yeah.
But the songs are really good, and they're like, even the translations, like, they're very heartfelt, and they're worth listening to. Like, I would YouTube these songs just to get a listen to.
No need to YouTube, because I will share a link on social media.
Oh, of course, like we do every week. What am I saying?
Yeah, I usually also after every episode is uploaded onto SoundCloud, I will also make a playlist of the songs for the movie or show, but these songs are not available on SoundCloud. So what I'm going to do is on social media, I'll share a link over to the playlist that is on YouTube, and I listen to it a lot. So so you don't have to go fishing for it. I'll have it right on there.
The show got a really good reception in Japan. I don't know how popular it is here in the States, or even Western countries altogether, but like, as someone who was not into it initially, by the end, I was feeling it. Like, I don't particularly find this type of anime enticing, I guess to say, but by the end, it totally had me drawn in, and like, I was like, in the latter half, I was just like, all right, we can watch one more.
Yeah.
Okay, you know what? I do want to know what happens next.
Yeah, that's what I knew. You were starting to enjoy it, and that made me really happy. I did enjoy the first half with the building of the relationships and the cutesy episodes where they're, her first photo shoot, her first debut, and all these other things that they follow. But overall, the entire show, if you watch it till the end, I feel like everybody could really appreciate it, because it's just, especially the second half, when they really get into the good stuff, it's just so well done.
Although I do think the show probably could have been better by cutting out a few of the earlier episodes, I understand what they were doing, and what's strange is I think this show is aimed towards kids. Like,
you think so?
Oh yeah, totally, like young teenagers.
With the 2 Shinigami talking
just
toys,
like, yeah, the way the design of the characters are and stuff, it's definitely aimed towards a younger audience.
Yeah.
But they focus on such heavy like themes.
Yeah, I mean, it's about a 12-year-old girl with cancer.
Oh man,
it's pretty dark.
It's really dark. This is our 3rd episode talking about Shinigami, I think.
Yeah.
It's a very big theme, like
big, and also in the news talking about freaking Death Note.
Oh yeah.
And there's a lot of Shinigami in the Japanese shows, and I think that would be an interesting the topic of discussion for another week. It's just all the different Shinigamis in anime culture, and they're really very diverse. I mean,
that would be an interesting episode.
These are by far the most adorable Shinigami that you're ever gonna see, but then again, they are for children, and they're for looking over children.
So if a Shinigami appeared to you and you're just like, oh shit,
And they accidentally drop the ball. Yeah, you only got a year left.
what would you do? Like if you had 1 year left to live, what would you do?
I think I would travel.
Okay, let's say for this argument, it's just gonna, like, as terrible as this sounds, it's gonna be a freak accident.
Yeah.
That takes your life, but your
Healthy.
health is good.
Yeah.
I think for like the first 6 months, I'd travel a lot.
That's all, yeah.
And then I'd come home
definitely.
and I'd probably like quit my job and just spend that last 6 months doing like
that is
things
a given.
that make me...
I am not working if I knew I only had 12
fair.
more months of my life. Not a single day is going to be spent in an office. I can guarantee that. If I were able to see everything that I wanted to see, like, you know, Europe and Japan and like all these other places on my list, then maybe the last 6 months with family, something like that. But definitely just absorbing all these different cultures and countries and just, you know, experiencing to the, you know, everything, anything and everything I could.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
And food. Who cares about calories, right?
That's fair too.
You eat whatever you want. You have as much pizza. We have good New York pizza here. You know, just whatever.
I would go broke so fast. I don't know if I'd make the 12 months.
Well, you know what? I mean, if you were to break the news to like the family, I don't know.
Well, how could you do that? How could you, like, first of all, they're not gonna believe
would you tell? Yeah, I guess not.
They're gonna be like,
They
why
wouldn't
would you
believe
even
it.
say something like that?
Why would you
That's
say
terrible.
such a thing? I mean, take out some credit cards, spend whatever you want on it, enjoy yourself. I mean,
not to be too morbid, guys, but what would you do if Shinigami appeared to you? They can take adorable forms, apparently. So what form would you want them to take? Yeah,
cat.
of course.
I want cat.
But like, what would you do if you only had a year left to live?
Yeah,
that's a really rough question. You don't have to answer that, but if you want to,
what would you do to ensure you're living your life to the fullest? You know, even if you didn't have a 1 year deadline,
get out
are
of the
you
office,
living your life to the fullest?
do something new,
yeah,
experience life.
And I'm sure now that we're near the end of the episode, you guys have noted that we did not give away the ending.
Yeah, we're trying not to.
We didn't tell you how it went with Ichikun, which is the other big reveal in the show. And I hope that after this discussion, you guys want to go out there and watch it. It is fantastic. I think I even saw the episodes on YouTube because it's an older show, and I didn't see it it's not on Netflix. It's not going to be on Crunchyroll. It's not going to be on any of those, but I'm pretty sure you can watch it right on YouTube, the episode. So go take a look, and I'll share the links if I find it.
All right, guys. So if you want to hit us up, you can email us at gitcanime@gmail.com.
Or you can find us on social media, Facebook and Twitter, GITC Anime, and you can follow us on there. And if you have any comments on social media, just hashtag GITC Anime.
What did you think of the show? Have you seen it? Are you going to watch it? We recommend it. Again, it's not something I would initially recommend, but having finished it, it's so worth your time. And it's, you know what, sometimes you just need a good feel.
No, seriously, I was introduced to the show back when I just graduated high school, and I instantly fell in love with it. And since that one friend introduced it to me, I have not met another person who has even heard of the show. So if you are a fan of the show, please hit me up, because I'd love to hear your opinion of it and your favorite characters, and I can talk about it all day. So thank you guys, and next week
we are talking Tokyo Ghoul.
And we're gonna have guest Blake back on with us, so we'll see you guys then.
All right, bye.
Yeah.